I'm here with Roland from Triple Crown here at U.S. Sports Congress. So, Roland, great to see you as always. This is a fun show for us because I know it's guaranteed one time a year I get to see you and Carrie. So, first off, just give us an introduction, how you got into the industry, and give us your story.
Yeah, good to see you too, Brandon. So, it's my 36th season, and our Triple Crown was incorporated in Fort Collins, Colorado in 1987. And we were a family-owned business by the King family. Dave King was the primary at that point.
Yeah.
His son, Kerry, now is our CEO.
Okay.
So we've evolved. It's family business, still a family-run and owned business. And I was playing softball. Dave and I knew each other. We used to play adult softball together and actually coach youth teams against each other in small mountain communities in Northwest Colorado.
Okay.
And he was starting an event company based on softball.
Yep.
And I said, I'm in. And he said, no, go finish your master's degree.
Oh, wow.
And be a teacher and a coach.
Oh, wow.
And so I stayed on that track, and then I just couldn't stay. He hired me part-time for $5 an hour in 1988.
Holy.
And the next thing I knew, I was doing site selection for this 36 event Budweiser sponsored slow pitch adult softball series. And I was getting on airplanes, and I don't think you'll be doing that same line of work 36 years later.
Right.
That's where I am.
That's very cool. That's awesome.
Started our baseball program in 1995, and our company gradually migrated to all youth sports pretty much. So,
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So, that's just a fantastic story, and so cool that you've seen it basically from one tournament to what it is today. So, speak to a little bit of really the depth of Triple Crown and what you guys are doing there.
Yeah. Well, it's we've evolved a lot.
Yeah.
It's a different business than the one I got in. We've got a media support department. We've got 4 full-time tech guys. We've got we're 65 full-time people.
Wow.
Depending upon if you count some remote people, we're probably a little bit larger. We now are in girls volleyball. We got into collegiate sports about 20 years ago. I got to help do some of those original sites in both men's and women's Division I college basketball.
Right.
And then youth baseball became our largest program through the late 90s and through the 2000s up until about 6 or 7 years ago, when our girls softball program overtook it as the largest segment.
Wow, no way.
So watching that evolution, and then we have three dedicated lodging people.
Okay.
Support, warehouse support. So it's a lot different when we used to kind of do everything ourselves as the directors.
Right.
And now we've got these great support departments within our organization. So
cool. So if there's one thing that's kept you going throughout all the years, it's events.
I love events.
Okay.
And I sometimes ask myself that question.
Yeah.
And my wife works in our business now.
Right.
She started 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud. I thought she would be in our business because our owner tried to hire her a few times. She was in another business.
Okay.
And I thought she would be in another support position maybe in our company.
Right.
And she's a great director.
Yeah.
So it's really the same job I've had.
Yeah.
And a really good one, So that's cool to be able to work with my spouse.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's sweet. So looking then at the industry, what is one of the biggest challenges that you're currently working through and see on the horizon?
In our industry, or with Triple Crown Sports?
However you want to take that. Yeah.
You know what? So I'll say a lot of this is still fresh in my mind from this morning's sessions, which have been dynamite, by the way, here at the Sports Congress.
Yeah.
This morning we had one on sports commission consortiums in different states.
Okay.
And how they're formed or not formed.
Right.
And the variances that they have from state to state.
Sure.
You have there's no Team Texas anymore, but you got Frisco.
Right.
And how funding's accessed, and then how government recognizes sports tourism.
Okay.
At the state level, from state to state. And a lot of times they have it lumped with leisure.
Right.
And it's not. So those are the types of things I think that we need to stick up for ourselves a little bit more as an industry.
Okay.
And then the other thing is that, I saw a really great presentation by William Knox, who's from Indiana, who I dealt with when he was on the DMO side years ago.
Yeah.
In the initial development of Grant Park in Westfield, Indiana.
Right. Yep.
And I actually, it was a site that was desirable because everybody saw this mega complex being built. And he was in on that. And then now he's got a consulting business. But the presentation this morning basically was on new facility developments.
Okay.
Of which we have one that's started and stopped and started again.
Yeah.
Right in our backyard in Windsor, Colorado, called Future Legends.
Correct. Yeah. Which we're fortunate enough to work with them as well.
Yeah. So Foley, Alabama, Westfield, Florida. I mean, he showed about 5 different scenarios.
Okay.
In all of them, there was a common theme. It was like, if we'd have just listened to the right people, or maybe taken time to get some consultation on a few key things, like not parking everybody in the mud, or using turf in a place where it rains a lot, or figuring out the operational and management model well beforehand, before we gathered public or even private and public dollars. And got a consultant, to help, and spend the 10 or 15 grand or whatever it was before you had to backtrack after you made a few mistakes and spend $250,000 covering your mistake. And sometimes people just want to listen to themselves, and then you get into political navigation of city council, and everybody's got a different point of view and a different platform. Some are self-serving because their kids playing a different sport. Some are totally sports tourism driven. I mean, it's
a mixed bag. Yeah, and I think something that I took from that and I found cool is the constant actually it goes down to the user experience. And being you're only going to be successful if that is the first thing, right?
And your local programs are served. Right. Or what priority are they in a public-private? I mean, there's just so many things.
Exactly. But I think it all goes down to, especially when you look at the facilities, the ones that are successful, it's them putting the user experience first. And it goes down to, like you mentioned, the parking situation, right? Is it a good parking lot? We're not charging them to park there. We're going to...
the number of times I've heard about new facility developments over the last 25 years. That were just unbelievable schematics that came out in the local newspaper or whatever it was on these palaces that were going to be built, and then they had like one hotel in the community.
Sure. And what kind of event experience are you able to provide there? Right. So I think that's something that we resonate with so well from the Event Connect side, and something that I think we as partners really do embody together is that it's the event experience, the team experience that you guys are always looking to provide.
What I've seen over the last 3 years is a company that's really willing to listen to the user groups in the market. It's not just a lodging company, but it's really doing everything they can. I told you guys this the other day with your team to go engage with the market, not only at conferences, but get out in communities and listen and learn and try to develop all parts of your business, not just the lodging support conduit. So that's impressive.
Awesome. And then you mentioned, and you have probably so much experience in bringing events to new areas. When you do that, what do you look for in that process?
I think the and it's not easily done. And if you're in a major metropolitan area, it's really difficult. A lot of the, in the markets we work in vary. Depending upon the magnitude of the event, the size of the event, how many facilities we're using. But new startups, which I've done a lot of for our company. Being able to have the right meetings with the right people together. Like the lodging community, facilities, the local sports community, the mayor, all these different factions, instead of having compartmentalized communication, bringing them all together in the inception of the potential develop
Okay.
so they can see and listen to each other
Right.
is really, really helpful. It gets you
Makes
off on
sense.
the right foot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then basically keeping those relationships connected in some sort of manner, right?
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I asked the previously what's the challenge? So let's go positive. What's making you excited these days? Looking into 2024 at Triple Crown.
2024 and beyond, just our leadership team now. How our culture at our company.
Yeah.
And how cohesive that we are in any company that's and we're not a big company, but a good sized company, event management company.
Yeah.
But there's companies a lot larger that in different businesses, obviously tons larger, but being able to, we've got a bunch of most of us played college something.
Right. Yeah.
That are directors.
Yeah.
So pretty competitive environment, but
the resume is loaded with sports experience.
Yeah, for sure. And having us work as a unit, unselfishly,
right, to
help each other, no matter what the sport, what the department of support, is really been cool. And we've worked our leadership, like Kerry King and the King family, I think have worked really hard on that.
Yeah,
and it shows in our business. And there's bigger companies. We're not a membership organization.
Sure.
So we just do great events, and that's what's kept my juices flowing after all these years. Yeah.
That's so awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I would agree from someone that gets to work closely with your organization. I find it cool how volleyball will try something, and you guys aren't scared to take what works in volleyball and try it in a different sport, being baseball or fast pitch. So I think that's unique to see, because you guys could take it from it only works for this sport, so let's not try it over here. But it's evident in how you guys do things, and we can see that when we're working together. So it's really cool. That's fantastic. So, before we end, instead of talking business, how's the golf game?
You know what, Brandon? I threw up a couple of 45s the other day.
Perfect.
And I didn't have my clubs with me, but every time I'm down here, I always enjoy it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I always enjoy playing with you when I get the chance to.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know there'll be more on the horizon. So that's awesome. Well, thanks for sitting down with us today.
Yeah, no problem.
Perfect.
Fellas.